Hi, my name is Jackie and welcome back to my channel. It is already the end of August. It means it's time for another Empties video. But before we get into it, let me tell you what I'm drinking today. It's not tea. It's coffee. It is some hazelnut coffee. Black. I don't really drink, I don't really put sugar and milk. I got cat hair in my coffee. I don't really drink coffee with milk and sugar in it all that often. Maybe I'll get a fancy coffee at Big B's, which is like the Michigan version of a Starbucks. Just a black hazelnut flavored coffee. I don't normally drink coffee anymore. I used to way back in the day. I used to drink a ton of coffee. I don't really drink a lot of coffee nowadays, but for some reason I just had a craving for it. I get a craving for it usually when the weather starts to change. And even though it's only August, even though it's still technically August, today's like the 29th, we're already starting to see the weather sort of change here in Michigan. You know, it's bouncing back and forth between like 70 degrees and 80 degrees. Every day this week I've been able to have the doors open, which is great. But yeah, I'm excited. Fall is coming. I will no longer feel obligated to drink iced teas, which I don't normally drink that often, to be honest. I get to drink my spiced teas, my vanilla aroma teas. I am so excited for autumn. So August wasn't really a big tea drinking month for me. I think probably because I put that pressure on myself to drink iced tea when I don't normally consider myself an iced tea drinker. So I only have 5 teas to share with you today. Look who's here to say hello. It is Ollie, and he has some hardware on his head. I'm thinking of maybe doing a separate video about this. It's been an interesting experience. But for those of you who are just curious, so he had torticollis, which is, he had like a short, tight muscle on one side of his neck, which made turning his head a little bit challenging and uncomfortable, and he had gone through physical therapy for a while to loosen that up. But basically, because of the torticollis, he basically had a flat spot on one side of his head, and the helmet is to help reshape that. But anyways, more on that later. So let's get into the teas that I drank this month. So the first one that I'm gonna mention is Adagio's birthday tea, and I already did a video on this for my birthday. Ow, you're pulling my hair. It's a delicious black tea with notes of caramel and vanilla, and if you just add a little bit of sugar to this, then it's a wonderful dessert tea. There's also some fun sprinkles in it, more for aesthetic than anything, because it's not like they melt and where are you going, man? It's not like they melt and flavor the tea or anything like that, but still really good, still really fun. Love it. I look forward to this one every year. This next tea actually comes from a Sips By box that I received in August, and I started a Sips By subscription back when I was on maternity leave, I think maybe in November, and then I canceled it back in February, and I love the Sips By subscription, I really do. And I've always been impressed with the teas that they sent to me, but since stepping back from my previous job and working from home part-time so I could be with Oliver, and even though I have sort of like a self-employment side gig on top of that, being the accountant that I am, I'm just always conscious of the money that we're spending, and I couldn't justify spending $15 a month, even though I do think it's a great value for that product. I couldn't justify spending $15 a month on more tea when I already had like 200 different types of tea in my collection. That being said, so I didn't like cancel it, I just sort of like deferred it. And I think I thought to myself, oh, by the time August rolls around, I'll definitely have worked my way through my collection, and that's not true. Of course, it doesn't help that I've had a couple of Adagio hauls and a couple of DavidsTea hauls since then. That sort of replaced all the tea that I drank anyway. But anyways, so I forgot about it until I saw the charge. I was like, oh, oops. Well, that's something to look forward to. So anyways, this next one comes from my Sips By box this month, and that is this Earl Grey tea from Ahmad Tea. And I actually already drank through all 4 of my tea bags. I love Earl Grey. It's sort of like a standard tea for me to drink. I always like to have it in my collection, but it's not like a kind of tea that I think is like absolutely amazing. It's sort of maybe like a comfort tea to me, sort of in a way that this cup of black coffee is comforting to me as the weather starts changing. It was sort of, and maybe I'll probably go more into my relationship with Earl Grey later, but it was sort of like one of those gateway teas for me. Anyways, I liked this. I don't think that there's a way for me to buy this in stores here in the US. I think this is something that I would have to order online. While I think this was really good, I'm not gonna order Earl Grey tea online. I don't think that there's ever been an Earl Grey tea that sort of has blown my mind. So I would be more inclined to just stick with Twinings tea. But if this is available in your neck of the woods, I liked it. It was a pretty good Earl Grey tea. In contrast, I sipped through this Earl Grey from David's Tea, and this is one that I purchased during their semi-annual sale. And it's funny because it says on here, everyone has tried Earl Grey, and yet this one is different. One taste and you'll never go back. And honestly, even though it's a loose leaf variety, I probably would still purchase Twinings Earl Grey over this. Not that it was bad or somehow worse than Twinings Earl Grey, but it was sort of like, I find Twinings Earl Grey to be a better value. Even though this is a loose leaf variety and therefore it's supposed to be like better quality, it's not like it blew my mind. So I would rather just go for the inexpensive bagged tea. I mean, I thought they were kind of comparable, honestly. I mean, I love Twinings Earl Grey, so I mean, that's not necessarily a slam against this David's Tea. It's just, you know, the value, what I would have to pay for this, the value just isn't there for me. And then the other two teas that I sipped through this month are also from David's Tea. The first one is this gingerbread tea from David's Tea, and it is a rooibos base. Let's see, it has red and green rooibos, honeybush, cinnamon, currants, candied pineapple, crystallized ginger, maple sugar, white chocolate, ginger, natural flavoring, and then a bunch of random sub-ingredients. This one was a letdown. This wasn't nearly as spicy as I thought it was going to be. So it really just didn't do anything for me. And honestly, I think I drank through this so fast because I just wanted it out of my collection. I do that sometimes. If I have a tea that just really doesn't blow my mind, I just kind of hurry up and just sip through it just to get it out and just to get it done with. And the teas that I like, the teas that I love, I have a tendency to just hold on to them because I don't want the bag to end ever. So I drank this one really quickly because I just wanted to be done with it. I have some other spiced rooibos teas that I want to share with you guys that are absolutely amazing. So look forward to those, especially as we move into fall. They're kind of the teas that I thought this was going to taste like. So this is another one that I got during this semi-annual sale. So it's not like I'm heartbroken about the cost of it. I mean, I think if I had purchased this outside of the sale, I would have been a lot more disappointed because David's Tea is kind of expensive. Yeah. And then last but not least, a summertime favorite, a new favorite of mine. So sad that I drank through this one, is the cotton candy tea. And I've done a video on this, and so I'll link it somewhere up here and you can click on it if you haven't watched it yet. But I loved this tea. It was so unexpected how much I loved this tea. Because cotton candy is not something that I would have ever thought would have translated well into a tea, but it was great. I loved it, and I would definitely recommend this, and I would definitely order this again, especially going into summertime next year. Just a really fun festive tea. I'd be curious to know what other cotton candy teas taste like. I know Stacy over at As the Tea Brews raves about cotton candy tea from The Necessities, and I've kind of had my eye on that, but I understand that one kind of sells out really quickly. So So we'll see. Maybe one of these days I can get my hands on that and try that out. That'd be really cool. And that's really it. I only sipped through 5 teas. I mean, I drank a lot more than just 5 teas, don't get me wrong. It's just, I didn't finish them. So yeah, that's what I drank that's what I drank through this August. My favorite was probably the cotton candy tea that I polished off. I loved that one. And then the other favorite would be the birthday tea from Adagio Teas. So I would love to know what you sipped through during the month of August. Do you have any favorites? Hopefully you did. And let me know what they were in the comment box below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.